So you finally hit that 10th, 25th, 100th subscriber mark and you decide, I'm going to upgrade my audio. So you buy something like the Rode VideoMicro, you plug it into the camera, and then you notice it sounds like this. And now while your audio sounds better, there's a loud static noise that you have to yell over to be heard. I'm going to show you guys a solution on how to fix this. What's going on, everybody? I'm Aaron, and today I'm going to show you guys how to get your Rode VideoMicro to sound like this instead of that atrocious sound we heard earlier. You're probably going to hear a lot of mowing right now because everyone decided to just start mowing their lawn as soon as I choose to record this video. That's fine. We're gonna go with it. But if you hear a little bit of humming in the background, that's what it is. It's not a result of these mics. When I'm talking about the noise, I'm talking about this distinct hissing noise, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So what you're hearing right now is the end result. It's the solution to the issue that I was having with the mic plugged into the camera, and I'll walk you through how I did that. Now this is edited. I did remove some noise because there will be noise because it is still plugged into the camera. This is just a solution so you can have this mic plugged into the camera with minimal noise. Now the first thing that I did was grab this mic, plug it in, and it did not sound good. And so we're actually gonna listen to that right now and see what it sounds like. So you're hearing the microphone plugged directly into the camera. There's zero editing on this. I'll show each version of what I have done to figure this out without any editing, so we have an accurate depiction on how it sounds. You'll notice that there's just a ton of noise. It's like right below my voice, and so it's really hard to edit out. And when you do edit out, then it sounds almost robotic, like there's a bunch of artifacts in the audio. And actually I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. So now I sound robotic. I don't sound good. I sound very unnatural.
I am a robot. Beep, 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 beep.
And this is why I don't have friends. So I thought, you know what? I have a little recorder laying around. It's a Zoom H1. Obviously I could plug it into that and then sync the audio in post. But if this is going to be a run and gun vlog setup, because I have a nice mic setup for in here, then I'm going to want something that I don't have to constantly sync and clap to sync the audio. I decided to try to plug it into the Zoom, and then with the line out, which is a headphone out, then I plugged that into the camera, and this is how it sounded. Okay, so I plugged the microphone into the Zoom H1, and then the Zoom H1 is plugged into the camera, and I thought for sure, I was like, this is it. This is gonna be the solution. It's gonna work. It's gonna sound great. And it sounds like this. It's still almost as staticky. So I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I literally have the volume on the camera at the first notch. And so it was as low as it would go. So it's like not using the camera preamps. It's essentially almost completely bypassing that because it's got a loud input in there. So I couldn't figure out what was going on, why it wouldn't be clean since it was using the preamps from the Zoom H1. And when it's plugged just into the Zoom H1, it sounds good. We'll actually test that while I'm explaining to you my next step. So I plugged the mic into the Zoom H1 and I'm recording the audio from there. I don't have the Zoom plugged into the camera. I'm just syncing the audio in post. I noticed it sounded good like this. So it's not the microphone, it's not the preamp. Something's going wrong here with when it goes into the camera. And I know cameras don't have the greatest preamps. Most professionals, or all professionals, record outboard audio, but if I'm just running and gunning, shooting a vlog style, then I didn't want to sync in post. I wanted an easier solution. And so here are the results of my solution. I have the microphone plugged into the Zoom, and then the Zoom with the line out is plugged into the camera, and I don't have to sync in post, and it sounds pretty good. I don't have any editing on right now, and I feel it's passable. It sounds good. I'd be fine with using this as a run and gun setup and not have to worry about syncing in post. So all I had to do was go to my audio settings on the camera and turn the attenuator on. If you don't have an attenuation option on your camera, I know some cameras don't, then you can purchase a $20 cable from Movo. I'll have it linked in the description below, and it essentially is a attenuation cable, and it'll do the exact same thing. Essentially what an attenuator does is reduces the strength of an audio signal. And so since this was a line out that I'm using, which essentially means you can listen to it with headphones while you're recording, so you can get feedback from that. It's an amplified sound, and so it's going into the camera amplified. It's not what we call line level. So line level is the specified strength of an audio signal that's used to be transmitted to another audio device. So essentially it's just too loud of a signal for this camera, and it's overdriving the preamps. And so once you turn the attenuator on, it intercepts that signal and turns the volume down, and now it's an acceptable level, and it's using the Zoom's preamps, and it sounds good to my ears. It's easily usable in most situations. It wouldn't be my preferred choice. I'd rather use my boom mic that I have if I was in the studio, but I'm not always gonna be there. I might be somewhere else with this setup, and I like how this sounds now. It sounds great, and it's not too bulky of a setup. One thing that I do want to mention is the further you are away from your microphone, the louder any noise in your room, the air conditioner, the hum of your PC, and the microphone preamp noise is going to be. The reason for that is because you have a noise floor. That's what we call it, and there's just a certain decibels that your room just rumbles in, kind of, and that might be like -50 decibels. And so if you're far away from your microphone and you just crank up the volume to compensate for that, then the noise floor will rise and your voice will also rise with it. So if this is your voice and this is the noise floor and you crank up the volume, then while your voice is going to get higher, the noise floor is also going to increase the same amount. So one solution for that is to get closer to the source. So if you're in the studio, you could put this microphone on a boom really close to you. It would sound better, and then it would be louder than the preamp noise because the source U is louder. Now, there's a plane. I swear I live in the noisiest neighborhood in the world. Okay, I think it's gone. Now what I suggest that you go out and buy a Zoom H1 after getting this microphone and you don't like how it sounds. If you can afford it, you'll get similar results, but that's about as much money as a active microphone. I didn't specify this earlier, but this is a passive microphone, and so that just means that it's not powered at all. It just plugs in there and it's passive. Whereas an active one takes batteries and it's powered and it's a stronger signal. So you should get better results from your camera from an active microphone. They just tend to be more expensive. I can't test with this Canon M3 if you would get better results from an active microphone. I can only speculate that you would. But I can verify that this setup right here is giving me great results, and I'm happy with it. And if you're in my situation and you either have a Zoom laying around or you are okay with spending the money on this Zoom to improve the audio and you already have the VideoMicro, then this would be a great route to go. The reason I got this microphone in the first place though was because it's compact, it's very small, my camera's very small, the lens that I use is small, and so I didn't want a big mic on this. While I am really big on good audio, sometimes it is convenient to have something smaller that maybe doesn't sound as good, but it's still passable, and I consider this passable. But if you do want a small setup and you're okay with spending that kind of money, then this is a great option for you. I do think more modern cameras and higher end cameras will have better preamps that you might get good audio just with this microphone. But if you're in my situation and you have a little bit older of a camera, or just the preamps aren't as good, then this is a good solution if you want a really small run and gun setup. Alright guys, well that will be it for me for this one. If you got something from it, if you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it when you do, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh yeah, I want to shout out my friends at the Interstate Gamers. It's a podcast about gaming. They do a lot of retro games, new games. You can actually hear yours truly on one of their most recent games. It is Fortnite. But you can find them anywhere you find podcasts. Just wanted to give them a shout out. Love their show. Also, check out their merch because they have some really awesome stuff.